Hello and welcome to the second video called the Fasting Fat Burn Formula. I trust you enjoyed the first lesson where I shared a bit about me, how I went from fat to fit 4 times in my life and some of the key lessons that I've learned. Because now you know that I'm not superhuman and I'm just like you. I have my slip-ups and my failures, but I've also traced back and highlighted some of the problems that were going in my life and then measured that with possibilities, because you have a problem, but with that you also have a possibility. With a possibility, then you have a path and a way out of that problem that you're having. And so understanding, I guess, those 3 key principles, that there is a problem, there's a possibility, and there's a path, you can now see there's a way out for you if you are struggling with things at the moment. So in this second lesson, I'm going to be covering off on what fasting is, because it's it does a lot of legwork for our weight loss. Fasting isn't about starvation. It's really about optimizing your body to burn fat for fuel. And it goes without saying, that comes with a disclaimer here, the training is not supposed to be used for medical advice. I'm not a doctor. Your health and well-being is solely on you, not me. Let's move on. Of course, if we didn't cover this in the first lesson, my name is Steve Roberts. I'm an exercise physiologist, personal trainer. I've been a health and fitness professional for over 20 years now. I wake up every morning with a spring in my step, knowing and excited about what I do for a living. Makes a big difference, and I want to help men just like you. Of course, let's just talk about fasting, because this does a lot of legwork for our weight loss. Straight away, when you remove calories out of your body goes looking for other ways to stay alive. And fasting is a great way to get a quick win. Fasting is really, it's a voluntary abstinence for spiritual health, fat loss, and other reasons. It keeps your body nourished through a process called ketosis. And now I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of what happens when your body goes through during the first few hours of fasting. So there are 4 stages of fasting. Now, there's physical changes that your body goes through during the fast is what I'm going to share with you here. So there's 4 stages. The first stage is called the fed stage. Now that is during the first 3 hours. After you've eaten something, there's this process where your body starts breaking it down, and that's still in the fed state. The second stage is called the early fasting state. Now this is where there's lots of changes happening in your body the first 3 to 18 hours, depending on what you're eating. But this is the stage where you start noticing some changes on a metabolic level. The third stage is known as the fasting state. This is where your body goes into ketosis. It starts using fat for energy instead of carbohydrates for its fuel. And you're starting to experience some neurotropic benefits as well, which is associated with your brain. Of course, if you go to longer term fasting, which is over 48 hours and maybe longer, that's when you see some really big benefits here in autophagy, which is the Greek word known as self-eat. So I'll break these down for you a bit more here now. So in the initial hours of fasting, your body taps into the liver and gets that stored energy while experiencing changes to the blood glucose and insulin secretion. Now, for instance, the ghrelin, there's a hormone change here, and that makes you feel hungry, and that tends to drop 1 or 2 hours after eating. Your body is going, okay, I've eaten, I feel satisfied. Then that stage 2, if you continue on not eating, you'll see that there is that 3 to 18 hour period where your body starts to kind of go, okay, there's nothing coming in here. What am I going to do? Through this period, hormone called glucagon starts to be secreted, and insulin levels drop, which is a good thing. Your body begins to use glycogen, which is stored in the liver, as energy. And this is that crucial stage here where there's a changeover in energy use. You'll see there's a weight reduction here because there's metabolic change. And what you look out for here is depleted glycogen. Your body starts looking around, breaking down proteins as fats. And through this stage here, you'll see that at least after 18 hours, your body enters that fasting state, followed by longer term fasting, also aptly known as a starvation state. And that's not a bad thing, but if you've ever done a 24-hour fast or longer, you'll know what I'm talking about. If this is the first time you've done something over 24 hours, just step this out nice and carefully. Make sure you don't have anything, physically demanding that's coming into your life, because you want to try and get through this period and unfuck your guts, as the lessons say. So stage 3 is the fasting state. For up to 2 days, your body breaks down fats and proteins for energy, initiating what they call lipolysis, which is ketone production, and also entering ketosis, which is a metabolic state where your body relies on fat over sugar and potentially activates autophagy. There's that word of self-eating. It triggers that stage and really cleans things up, and any sugars or anything latent hanging around your body, now that can be influenced by your age and activity level and also your metabolism and usual diet, but this usually happens in that sort of 18 to 48 hour period, which is very, very good for longevity. Stage 4, when you go into longer term fasting, as insulin levels drop and ketone levels rise, ketones become the primary energy source, I should say. Reduces any breakdown from muscle proteins and preserves muscle mass. Your body goes into a state of muscle preservation. This is important for survival. Think about the caveman. If they have fasted for days and days and days, and they're waiting silently behind perhaps their prey, and they want to attack it, they need to have that reserve and that capacity in order to chase the animal, kill it, and have their next meal. So prolonged fast can last between 4 and 21 days with huge, huge benefits. And there's plenty of stories behind people doing longer term fastings and really turning back the years of their life. But warning, this can be done, best done under supervision. And that's what I help men through in my club program, as well as my more advanced trainings. So here's an example of some of the guys that I've treated and trained over the last 5 or 6 years on some of the results they've got before and after the challenges. And of course, now it's your turn. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. But first of all, my mission statement is clear. I want to empower over 1,000 men by 2030 to transform their lives, achieve peak fitness, and become influential leaders in their homes and communities. Together, we are building a legacy of resilience and strength, ensuring that not only we survive, but our grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren will thrive as living proof that we knew the way to do it, to be strong, purposeful, and impactful. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson called the Intermittent Fasting Master Plan. I'll see you then. Done.